I'm back. I'm back. I tell you, technology is your friend and it's a hater. I'm going to just say that. Technology is your friend and it's a hater. But anyway, I'm back, everyone. In case you lost the broadcast, please come on back into the broadcast. Technology is trying not to be my friend today, but we're going to be successful right today anyway. Say, whatever, we're back and we're in this, okay? Hi, Dr. Shar. Thanks for coming back. The technology is trying to get me, but we're not going to let it get, we're going to get jumped right back into it. So today, again, for those who kind of missed the first part of that, and hopefully this will be the last glitch in this technology broadcast today. Thank you for coming back in. Come on back in. Invite everybody to come back into the room, to the broadcast with hearing me with Dr. Zarina. I'm going to rehash exactly what I'm here doing today, and then we're going to go right back into where I left off. I am Dr. Zarina, also known as Dr. Z, your sports medicine and integrative medicine specialist, here to help you with your to rebound your health and ultimately obtain pain freedom through my different programs, consultative services, medical practice, speaking engagements, and so on and so forth. I'm here to help you rebound your health and ultimately obtain your pain freedom. That is what I'm here to do, and I'm going to try to come to you every week as close as possible to help you, absolutely help you do that. Hi, Tracy. Hi, Crystal. Dr. Crystal, thank you for joining me. Hi, Yvonne. Thank you for joining me. Today we're talking about burn, baby, burn, and that's what I want to jump right back into in case some of you might have missed the first part of the conversation. What I was talking about was what kind of things are in our lives that may be sabotaging our ability to burn that fat. So one of the first things I talked about was our diet, and those things are the simple carbs and the simple sugars. And I also mentioned that that's not breaking news, really, right? That's not breaking news. Most of us actually already know that simple carbs and simple sugars can sabotage our ability to have our best health and our best life. And those simple carbs and simple sugars are examples of, I typically generalize it and say if it's a whiter food, WHITE, then that is going to be something that you want to avoid or minimize in your diet as much as possible. Why? Because it just doesn't take much energy. I'm looking at this whole conversation. When you hear me use energy, I'm really talking about your body, your vessel. So when you hear me use the word energy in this broadcast today, come on in. Y'all go ahead and share. Sharing is caring. Hopefully this information will be helpful to you or someone else. So hopefully go ahead and share this and click notifications so you can get more updates as we continue this conversation over the next few weeks. But those simple carbs just don't take a lot of energy for your body to break down. So when I use the word energy in this broadcast, I'm really speaking about your body. So because it doesn't take a lot of energy to break down into, because it's already a simple sugar, a simple carb, then that also means that you're not going to burn because you didn't have to create enough energy, right? You didn't have to use a lot of ATP. Some of my scientists and my nerds out there, you know what I mean about. That's adenosine triphosphate. That is, say that real fast. That is basically the energy that your body uses to do anything in your body. But that's also included in your metabolism, okay? So it just doesn't require a lot of energy to break down those simple sugars or those simple carbs. Hence, it just sticks on you. It doesn't require a lot. So the other thing we talked about, simple carbs that also could be sabotaging. The other thing I said could be sabotaging your ability to burn, baby, burn, is your physical activity or the lack thereof, a sedentary lifestyle. Also not news breaking, right? I don't think that's going to be new to anybody. Hi, I'm Clancy. Thanks for joining us. Invite. Come on to the broadcast. Welcome to the broadcast. Go ahead and share it out. So definitely if you are someone who has a sedentary lifestyle, we're going to talk about some tips again over the next few weeks as well about some just simple strategies that you can introduce into your life to just create the momentum at least. And so my athletes, we're going to talk about also, we're going to kind of switch it up because not everybody that comes to me is an athlete. So I'm trying to make sure that I'm reaching the people there that say, you know, well, you're an inner athlete. I'm going to reach your inner athlete, right? It's because get you to the place that you can rebound your health and have ultimately pain freedom. There's a quick questionnaire I have heard we should eat energetic foods. What are some of those foods? I'm actually going to talk about that as well. Thank you for that question, Ms. Char, in this broadcast as well. What I call thermoeffective foods, which is basically the same thing as energetic foods, okay? So we'll talk about that in just probably 4 to 5 minutes. And then the last thing I talk about is, so that was the first thing that sabotages your diet. The second thing that sabotages is your physical or lack thereof activity. And then the other thing is your unvaried workout. This is probably a big deal for my athletes or those who are already on the road of, trying to make sure that their physical activity is up to par, one thing that I feel like that people they forget about it, and we kind of touched a little bit on that last week about the cross training, is not as having unvaried workouts. That can also sabotage your ability to burn the fat, because you're basically having this repetitive use of your body as energy, but eventually your body, it just doesn't require, you're not requiring it to switch it up or to rev up, because now your body has gotten used to that momentum of that, whatever that steady state of those exercises that you're giving it. Say it's a resistive elliptical, and you do the same elliptical machine 5 days a week for 20 to 30 minutes a day, and you're like, Dr. Z, I'm working out. I'm doing 30 minutes a day on the elliptical. What's happening? I'm not burning any more fat that, in the beginning you did, right? You might say, oh, it's feeling good. It revved up. I saw that I lost a few pounds, and all of a sudden it just kind of stopped and it plateaued. Well, that is because of that steady routine, and you don't have a varied routine. So you do have to switch it up so that your body can kind of keep your body guessing, so to speak, right? So that it has to use more energy to burn the fat. So that's extremely important. So those are the three, I would say, main, kind of just keep those. There's other things that can sabotage, but if you just keep those two things in mind, your diet can sabotage if you're having a lot of simple carbs and simple sugars in your diet. The lack of exercise or a sedentary lifestyle, and also an unvaried workout. So you may be somebody who's listening to me right now and you do work out. You say, I work out quite a bit. But yes, muscle confusion. People use that term as well. Exactly. Kind of switching it up. Definitely. So yes, that's an example of what I mean by that. So those are the three main things I would say. If you take those take-home points and keep those things in your mind about when you're looking at, even if you journal, if you don't journal, have a little pad next to your nightstand and write down and just jot down as it comes to you at the end of your day, what did your physical activity look like that day? What did your diet look like that day? And if you did work out that day, did you switch it up? Or was it different from yesterday's workout? So those kind of things are tips and strategies to kind of help you bring yourself in the mindset so that you can kind of get on the path of switching it up a little bit so that you can burn more fat. Those are some big quick things. Hi, Simon. Thank you for joining us. Please sharing is caring. Thank you for coming to the broadcast. I'm so happy to see your name. I missed you, girly. So moving on to the next step of, okay, those are the things that sabotage it. What things can actually help rev it up? So the main things I think about are your protein, your carbs, and then your fat. Okay, we're going to just take that in a generalization. And if you are listening to my voice, if I were to ask you a question, which one do you think out of the protein, the fat, and the carbs requires your body to use the most energy to burn? Would it be fat? Would it be the carbs? Or would it be the protein? What do you think? I'll give 5 seconds for you to answer. And if you don't answer, I'll answer in a minute. Anybody want to guess? Anybody? Nobody wants to guess? Okay. Y'all said that's what you're here for, Dr. Z. Well, the main thing that your body will require to use the most energy to burn. Okay, so somebody said protein, your body. Okay, good, y'all. Good job. So somebody said protein, somebody said fat. Hey, Mr. Lee, how you mean? Thanks for joining us. So the answer is your body, it takes more energy to burn protein than it does to burn fat. So the idea behind this, so let's wrap your brain around that, right? The point of that is saying basically when you eat fat, it doesn't just, the reason why it sits on you for the most part, right, is because it doesn't require your body to burn and to use it, to break it down into energy as much as it does require protein. Okay, your body definitely has to work harder to break down the protein to use that for energy. So fat requires about 3 to 5% energy. That doesn't require much, as opposed to protein that requires in that 60%, 65%, right? So that's a big jump. That's a big difference. And then the carbs are somewhere in the middle. So that's why you still need carbs. Don't go to the low carbs. I'm not a fan. If you care about what I think, I'm not a fan of low carb diets because that's not the point of what I'm saying. Carbs is extremely important, in particular the type of carbs that you're going to be eating. And we can have a conversation about that too. But there's somewhere in the middle in that 20, 30%. Okay, but protein requires your body to work the hardest, to use the rest of that for energy. Hence, you're going to burn. And also you're going to burn even when you're done eating. Hence, that goes back to the reason why. So that was basically the food. That's part of your thermal effective or thermal energetic foods, right? Those are those types of foods like your protein, your quinoa. If you are looking for some non-meat based proteins, your chia seeds have high protein, flax seeds high protein, chia seeds or not chia seeds, garbanzo beans or what do we call chickpeas? Somebody call it chickpeas. Hey, everybody! Thanks for joining. Thanks for the love. I appreciate that. And love yourself back, because this is really what this is about. This is all for y'all. So at the end of the day, those thermoeffective and energetic foods are going to be the ones that's going to help your body burn the most, so that you can overcome those plateaus and burn more fat and build muscle. So and that's the other point of that. The difference between the protein and the fat is the fat, it doesn't it's not going to help with your muscle building. Okay, protein is one of the cornerstone building blocks of muscle building. And when you build muscle on your body, so when you have more muscle on your body than you do fat, even at rest, you burn. You burn, baby, burn. Hence, isn't that awesome? So of course, why would we want fat? And a lot of my ladies out there, if you're listening to my voice, a lot of you typically are afraid to build muscle. But that, I want to tell you, I'm here to hear from my voice, that's the very opposite mindset I want you to have. Not to mention, if you're my age, not a young whippersnapper anymore, you absolutely need to be making sure that you're doing resistance training of some kind, because as we age, you get over that 35 and 40 and going 45 and 50, as you age, men and women actually, you lose muscle, you lose muscle mass. So it's actually, y'all laughing at me, but it's funny. It's true. So you lose muscle mass, okay, as you age. So that's extremely important, that you making sure that as you age, you're continuing to make sure if you don't do anything else, you're absolutely still doing resistance training. And I don't mean just do resistance training, you also need to be flexible as well. But resistant training is extremely important because it's going to help build muscle, help increase your metabolism, hence you're going to burn fat, and you're going to keep that off for longer. Because when you sleep, you get to burn fat. Who doesn't like that? Right? Okay, so that was, so let's recap that really quick. So we talked about thermogenic foods. We talked about the three big things in terms of foods when it comes down to protein, carbs, and fat. We just made a note that protein requires your body to work the hardest, right? Your body has to work the hardest to burn that, to use that for energy. And your body has to work the least amount to do that with fat. Hence, protein better, fat not so much. You do need fat in your diet, but it's the good fat, the olive oils, our sunflower oils, right? Those got avocado oil. If you haven't tried that, okay? Those low kind of, those plant-based or, those vegetable-based oils are really, really, not vegetable oil. So make sure I'm clear about that. The oils I just said, olive oil, sunflower oil, avocado oils, things like that. All right, weights bulk me up. No, ma'am. Resistance training above has to use weights. No, you don't have to use weights. Good question. So let me answer some of those questions real quick. As far as weights are concerned, you don't have to use like free weights. You don't even have to use the weight machines. Honestly, what I use at home, my husband included actually, even though he sneaks in his, dumbbells. But mostly what we use are the resistive bands, okay? And I like those because you can control the environment a lot better, have less risk for injuries, because even my athletes who think they're the bomb get injured using those free weights. When your form is not correct, you can't really, sometimes you can't manage your form as well when you're using a free weight, so that's extremely important. But do not avoid, Mrs. Shar, you said, please do not avoid resistance training. In terms of the bulk up part, if you want to increase your, my hands go off the screen, you want to increase your sets, okay? In terms of, so you're going to go longer, so instead of you trying to max out, where you may be doing 30 pounds, set 3 reps of 8, no, instead you take the 10 pounds or 12 pounds and you do 15, or you take the 5 pound and you do 20, okay, sets, 20 reps and then 3 sets. Something like that, and that will help with the endurance piece of that, still building muscle, but you're not necessarily working on bulking up and building muscle. So please, I'm glad you asked that question. Resistance training is still extremely important, ladies. Don't worry about bulking up. You just have to make sure that your strategy and your goals are in line with what you're trying to do. And it's extremely important because I promise you, the more muscle you have in your body, the more fat you're going to burn. And you're going to do it at rest. I promise you, I promise you, I promise you. Water aerobics, question about that. Yes, so water aerobics can be very important, very helpful as well. And a couple things that I can do is, in particular, if you use resistance on your arms and legs, is again, I'm all about resistance because it's going to help build muscle, and that's what helps increase your metabolism, and that's what's going to help you burn the fat. And this is what that conversation is about. So if you add resistance to your workouts in the water, that's going to help, but it also is easy on your joints, so I love that too. I love anything that's going to be easy on the joints, because a lot of you that are listening to my voice, you already have pain, and you're like, wait a minute, Dr. Z, how am I supposed to do all that and my back hurt, or my neck hurts, or my shoulder hurts, or my knees hurt? Water aerobics can be very, very helpful for all those things when it comes to that, okay? And then also the band work instead of those free weights also be very helpful and something that you can manage. Hey, Amir, thanks for joining us. Burn, baby, burn. We're talking a little about that. Welcome to the broadcast. Invite, or share. Maybe watch it later and let someone else watch it later. And hopefully some tidbits today will be very, very informative and helpful to get everybody to the next goal and rebound your health. So we kind of recapped that. So moving on, we talked about the 3 things that sabotage: simple carbs, simple sugars. We talked about lack of exercise or decreased exercise, as well as unvaried workout. An unvaried workout where you're kind of doing the same workout all the time, very regularly, and you're not mixing it up. So that was the sabotages. And then we talked about the best foods to actually help increase your metabolism in spite of your basal metabolic rate. So that was the important piece of it too. Your basal metabolic rate takes up about 60 to 65% of actually our body's expenditure. So the other piece of that is our food, which is about 5 to 10%. And then physical activity can be about 3 to 5%. You're like, what? That mean I don't have to work out? No, I didn't say that. But in the grand scheme of things, your basal metabolic rate is extremely important. That was the point that I'm making to you. Hi, Miriam. Thanks for watching us. Welcome to the broadcast. That's basically what I'm trying to impress upon you, is that when you look and you break things down, you can kind of see them in numbers. And a lot of times that helps us identify what we're doing wrong and how to reach our goals, okay? So yes, basal metabolic rate takes up about 60% of that metabolism. And then that 5 to 10% is your food. And then that 3 to 5% is your physical activity. So when you think of that, you think of in terms, okay, so basically that means that my basal metabolic rate is really important. That is what I'm telling you. And you also might say, well, wait a minute, but my metabolism is slow. Well, that's everything I said before this moment is exactly those things that you need to do to increase that. And that just because you may have a predisposition to having a slower metabolism doesn't mean you can't rev it up. And all those things we just talked about are going to help you, in particular when it relates to the protein. So you want to make your plates very colorful. Okay, that'll be a little bit more. Add some complex carbs, as well as, and a little bit of fat. Okay, the good fat. So that's kind of how you need to be looking at your plate anyway. Okay, and that's going to help increase your metabolism. Okay, questions. Let me look at any more questions here. Let's see here. Hi, Carol. Thanks for watching us. Thanks for watching. Welcome to the broadcast. Welcome to the broadcast. Thanks for joining and sharing this caring industry. Go ahead and share. It may be someone, you're late, that's okay. You're not late, never late, because this information is going to still be there. You can watch the video back and share it and watch it a little bit later as well, okay? Are there any questions about it? Again, the recap was what things are going to sabotage, what things like your simple carbs and simple sugars, also your low activity level or sedentary activity level, as well as an unvaried workout, okay? And then what things are important to understand about what are going to be the most important things to help increase your metabolism? Well, the context was protein is about 60%. It takes the most energy. Your body has to work the hardest to break that down to use that for energy. And your body has to work the least to use fat. And then the carbs are somewhere in the middle. Hence, with that information, that tells you that you want to have a higher diet in protein. Do not eliminate your carbs, okay, altogether, but just try to eliminate or minimize your simple sugars and your simple carbs. I have a question on that. Can you repeat the foods that are energetic? So some of the foods that are energetic are the proteins. And some of the proteins I like are the quinoa, chickpea, yes, your fish and chicken because they have lower fat content, right? And hence that means that your body can use more of that for energy, which means you're going to have an increase in metabolism, which means you're going to burn more fat. And then you have the things like beef, they're there, enjoy, lamb, there, enjoy. I do enjoy those as well, but they're not a staple in my home, okay? So that, you know, that's kind of where I am. And if you're not a meat eater, don't shoot, you know, don't, that's all good too. Your proteins that you're going to eat are the quinoas, the chickpeas, what else do I like as far as those? Your beans, I love black beans. Your bean family, those have very powerful in protein, okay? And a lot of you out there, if you're vegetarian, you kind of know that already. And if you're not vegetarian, we have vegetarian days, right? Sometimes you may have just meatless days in your home, and that's going to be extremely helpful for your overall body to help decrease the inflammation in your body. We talk a lot about that, right? As well as, hi, Ronnie, thanks for joining the broadcast. Yes, almonds are great snacks and protein for increasing that protein intake, and your body's going to work harder to break that down, and you're going to have that increase your basal metabolic rate. That one's twisting me up today, y'all. So very, very great points, yes, and very, very good questions, I should say. What else do? So yes, I would encourage you guys out there who are not vegetarians to still implement meatless days into your life. And if you have children, they're going to do what you do. So I have some people out there who say, well, my child would never eat that. They can only eat what they have access to. And most of your children under 13 don't have jobs. Or they don't work outside the house at least. And they can't drive either. So they need to eat what you're eating. So that's why I'm talking to you all, because we want our children to rebound their health too. We want our children to have pain freedom too. And that also, that pain freedom for children, I'm kind of talking about the burn, baby, burn, but this is so important, I'm so passionate about this, is that when it comes to pain freedom, remember we always talk about pain freedom is just not about my shoulder doesn't hurt anymore. We're talking about pain freedom here and here. And when our children can't be focused because their diets are highly saturated with those simple carbs and those simple sugars and those dyes and everything else, that is actually going to impact their ability to rebound their health. It's going to impact their ability to have pain freedom and the clarity in here, as well as their ability to be their best selves at school and so on and so forth, so they can reach their fullest potential. So they're absolutely watching you. They're absolutely, and so it's extremely imperative that when you're burning, baby burning, that you have your children right next to you and they're burning along. We are definitely their their biggest heroes, and we are indeed who they're watching. We're talking about the peer pressure. Let us be the pressure that they're most out seeking out. Okay, so that was just a little side note but that's so important when we're talking about, because absolutely at the end of the day, this burn baby burn conversation is really mostly about what we're putting into our bodies so that we can use our bodies truly as the vessels of energy that they were meant to be. Okay, so thank you for watching me. What was the last question? I'm sorry. Meat and inflammation, can you expound? Okay, so what I meant by that, okay, this would be my last question, and hopefully if anybody else has any questions, please don't hesitate to contact me at info@drzarina.com. So that's info@drzarina.com if you have any further questions. But let me expound on that meat and inflammation. So red meat does have a higher content of inflammation in that product, in that substance. And so what you want to do is you want to minimize the inflammation in your body, because overall, when you have increased acidity and increased inflammation, that sets our body up for disease. It sets our body up for these chronic illnesses that we are enduring as Americans, such as diabetes and hypertension and high cholesterol. Those are preventable and curable diseases. And so that was an awesome question as it relates to that, because indeed it's all about the inflammation in our bodies that's setting our bodies up as vessels for disease. Hence, what you want to do to decrease inflammation is have a higher diet of antioxidants, because what red meats and simple carbs and simple sugars do is they increase the oxidation in our bodies. They increase the acidity, and the pH, if you will, becomes lower. So that's what I mean by acidity, and it's just the inflammatory process in our bodies. So our bodies can't be its best self. It can't work off of what it doesn't have. That's something I oftentimes say a lot, is that when we talk about, oh, well, I still have pain, or, oh, sometimes you have some skin issues and things like that. Your body can only use what you give it, what it has. And if it doesn't have the reserve, it's going to use up all that you did give it. And the rest of it, is going to try to hold on to, but it can't use what it doesn't have. That's also part of one of the sabotage things that happens is some of you out there, you try to eat less to lose weight. And some of us do need to decrease our calorie intake. I'm not a big fan of calorie counting, but what I will say is when you're looking at the fact that your protein content, especially if it's like, again, not a high fat protein, is going to help you burn energy a lot better, then indeed, as you can imagine, you're going to burn more fat and increase your metabolism and not hold on to the fat. But at the same time, your body has to work, your body will actually begin to feel like it's starving if you don't feed it. So I'm speaking to those of you who may think I need to eat a lot less, and then you kind of go into starvation. That's what your body thinks anyway. Because it's like, well, when is the next time she's going to give me this? Or when is the next time he's going to give me that? They don't know. So in the beginning, when you reduce your calorie intake, it does help. Because your body, you know, it does help. But then eventually, again, you go back to one of those sabotages that we talked about, which is set in one of the sabotages where your body plateaus. And that's what I don't want for any of you, okay? So great questions. Thank you for joining me once again. Hopefully this was information that was important and helpful. If it was helpful, please don't hesitate to share it. And hopefully someone will get a nugget or two. Like I said, sometimes this information may be redundant, and that's completely fine. I'm all about repetition. I do it for myself. The more you repeat it, the more you're repeating the habit, the better you're going to be at improving your health and your wellness overall. So that is it for me today. I'm Dr. Zarina, also known as Dr. Z, your sports medicine, integrative medicine specialist, here to help you through my programs, other books and other services to come, as well as our medical practice to help you rebound your health and ultimately attain your pain freedom. Pain freedom, pain freedom, okay? Pain freedom, all right? Absolutely. And I'll see you guys next week. Thank you for joining me. Share out if it was helpful information, and love you guys. Mwah. See you later, MVPs.